Here are my top 6 things that I'm most looking forward to. Number 1 is number 6, USC hosting number 15, Notre Dame. You got a pair of first-year head coaches. You've got one of the most talented quarterbacks, if not the most talented player in America, in Caleb Williams, and a Heisman campaign in full force. You got a Notre Dame team trying to spoil a USC season, coming off a dominant win just a week ago. It's going to be the physicality in this game. Notre Dame is known this season to be a very physical team. They want to run the football. They want to slow the game down. What's USC's defense look like? They've been dramatically opportunistic. 24 turnovers forced on the season. Can they get a couple more against Drew Pine? I think this defense is extremely active, led by Tuli Tuipulotu, possibly your defensive player of the year. And you've seen players just elevate, like Corey Foreman in that game-clinching interception just a week ago from the former 5-star recruit. Offensively, this is Caleb Williams and this offense with Jordan Addison. When you see Jordan Addison healthy, you saw last weekend how challenging it is to stop him and this offense. How about this offense with Austin Jones, this offensive line, one of the best offensive lines in America? I expect them to move the football and outscore Notre Dame and put themselves in position, if they could win the Pac-12 title, to be a lock for the college football playoff. Number 2, it's Oregon State. Number 9, Oregon. Number 21, Oregon State. Saturday afternoon, so much at stake. For the Ducks, they win, they're in. They lose, well, it opens up the door for a lot of other teams to find their way to Las Vegas to face USC. How does Oregon get it done? Well, to me, it starts with Bo Nix. How healthy is he? Coming off that ankle injury, I expect him to continue to get better and better as the week progresses and be much more mobile than he was in a win over Utah. But what was he over Utah? He was gritty. He was timely. You saw their game plan adjust. And if they can get Alex Forsyth back on the offensive front, this run game will continue to grow against the Beavs front 7. Now, the challenge for Oregon is that the Beavs defense, led by Trent Bray, I think it's the number 1 defense in this league. Consistently, from the first snap of the season to now, they have made life extremely challenging for their opponents. They might not have a first-round pick on the defense, but they don't have a weakness. They're active in their front 7. Their secondary, which should be much healthier than it was a week ago, they're very confident. They're all over the field, and they will force the receivers of Oregon to win at the line of scrimmage, win downfield, and win at the moment of truth when the ball is in the air. On the flip side, Bengal Branson will get the nod again for Oregon State. Damian Martinez is the running back trying to go again for 100 yards. How does Oregon's defense slow down this running game and the play-action game? They're going to have to do that if they're able to get victorious and find their way back to the Pac-12 title. Bottom line, I love this game. Jonathan Smith, he should be up for consideration for Coach of the Year. Dan Lanning should be up for consideration for Coach of the Year. You've got a sellout, crazed crowd at Reser Stadium. It may only be half the stadium, but it will feel like it's times 3 when you look at the actual number of people in the stands. So get ready. It's going to be an awesome environment for the 3rd week in a row for the Oregon Ducks and for Oregon State. Senior day with so many talented players that have poured into this program under Jonathan Smith. Number 3 for me is the Apple Cup. Number 13, Washington versus unranked Washington State. Now, let me be very clear. I do think Washington State is a top 25 team, and you're going to have a top 25 clash in the Apple Cup at Martin Stadium. All right, so for Washington State to get the upset, what do they need to do? Well, number 1, offensively, they need to have success running the football. You want to keep this UW offense off the field on Saturday night. So you can do it with Nakia Watson, who, by the way, when he plays, Washington State is 7-2 and expect him to play. Also for Cameron Ward, he's been growing all season long. He needs to be at his best and not to turn the ball over against this very active UW defense. Now, defensively for Washington, they got to get after the quarterback. I love their edge rushers. They feel very confident in their front 7, and they're healthy. 3rd straight game, they should have all their starters back from the first week of the season. Now, on the flip side, when UW gets the ball, look out, because this offense is powerful. Leading passer in the nation in Michael Penix Jr. These receivers, they create explosive plays every single game. It's just the norm in this offense, and they've been able to run the football. With 2 running backs behind this veteran offensive line led by Jackson Kirkland, the 6th-year senior, finishing up his final Apple Cup. Expect UW to try to run the football, but you know they want to take shots. Now, how does Washington State stop that? Well, it starts with their front seven: Ron Stone Jr., Brennan Jackson, Deion Henley. These three are as good as any three players at their respective positions in the Pac-12. Can they get to the quarterback? Can they force Michael Penix Jr. off his spot outside the pocket? And they got to make plays down the field. Bottom line, it's a rivalry. It's an epic rivalry. So what do you need to do? Just make sure you get your rest on Friday night. I got a feeling we are going to be trending with the old Pac-12 after dark in this year's Apple Cup. Number 4 for me is the Territorial Cup on a Friday. So it's a short week for Arizona State and Arizona, but both of those teams wanted to put that last game behind them. They immediately turned their focus to their rival and this rivalry game. There's a lot of storylines in this game. Jane DeLora, first time he's played in a Territorial Cup, but he's had success in an Apple Cup. He knows how to handle his emotions in a rivalry game. Trenton Bourguet, he's going back home to Tucson to play in this game as a starting quarterback as a former walk-on. Are you talking about, like, find me a better storyline in all of rivalries in college football this weekend if ASU can get this win? And then I think for both of these teams, neither one of them are going to a bowl. This will be a moment that will be one that can catapult them into their offseason program, give them bragging rights. Maybe somebody will put up a new billboard on the road from Tucson to Tempe. We know how it goes in this rivalry game. I think it'll come down to which team can just minimize unforced errors. I'm talking about no foolish penalties, no bad penalties on third down. Just play your game. It's going to be hard in an emotional game, but I expect both of these teams and both of these staffs to have their teams ready for a clean and incredibly competitive rivalry game. Number 5 for me is the game that I'll be at. With Ted Robinson and our Pac-12 Networks crew, we're going to Boulder. Utah faces Colorado. We know it's been a challenging year for the Buffs. We also know it's been a challenging year for Utah, coming off a tough loss on the road in Austin, but they still have a chance to go to the Pac-12 title. Now, they need some help on Friday and Saturday, but they'll be able to track some of that help as the day goes on. And I expect them to be at their best. Expect it to be the final game for Cam Rising, Dalton Kincaid, and other players that have poured into the program at Utah under Kai Whittingham in his 18th year as the head coach. They flipped this whole thing around. They're defending Pac-12 champs. It's been normal for them to get to the Pac-12 title. They got to handle business on Saturday against Colorado. In Colorado, they're not going to worry about a thing. They're going to cut it loose. So don't be surprised if you see trick plays, if you see unique plays, maybe some new wrinkles defensively. We've seen that the last 2 games for the Buffs. So while Utah will be heavily favored, I can't wait to go watch this game. And for the Colorado players, I want to urge one thing. This is the final game you'll get to play as a connected unit in 2022. And we know you've been through a lot in 2022, let alone previous years with all the coaching changes. But lean into the experience. Don't miss a moment of Folsom Field on Saturday. We cannot wait to be there and broadcast it. Number 6. Now, this is that time of the year. A lot of rumors out there. Arizona State and Colorado will be hiring a new head coach. I look forward to possibly some of that news breaking. Who will be the new leader for these 2 programs? How will they navigate what is a unique landscape in college football with the transfer portal and NIL? Whoever gets that job will have a clear and crystallized plan on how to move forward, and that should be extremely exciting for these 2 teams because they have an opportunity, I believe, in Boulder and in Tempe to create something special under their new leadership, and I cannot wait to see and hear what that plan is. Maybe we hear about it by this weekend.